Now that summer is gone, days are once again getting shorter, nights are getting colder and longer. We know that it's time. Yeah, Halloween time. And what better way to start this season than to review a game about vampires and its possible birthplace. And no, I'm not talking about Dracula and Transylvania. Join us as we review Vampire Legends, the True Story of Kisilova. In the 17th century, during the reign of the Habsburg dynasty in Europe, and the empire still recovering from the ravaging effects of the Black Plague, an unexplained string of deaths occurred in a small town of Kisilova. Fearing that the plague might be returning, the Duke of Württemberg sent his 2 emissaries to investigate, and upon arriving, it seems that the unexplained deaths might be linked to a local named Peter Blagojevic. Blagojevic died in 1725, and not long after, deaths of several people in the village followed within few hours of each other. Some even claimed on their deathbeds that he returned to strangle them. Fearing for their lives, the rest of the villagers sought to have Blagojevic's corpse dug up to examine for signs of what they believed to be of vampirism: growing hair, beard and nails, and an intact body with no signs of rotting. Seeing all these features in the corpse, instead of complimenting the local funeral services for their excellent talent in embalming, the townspeople decided instead to drive a spike through the corpse's chest, chopped off his body, and burned it. It might sound like an overkill, but maybe because the village folks are too spooked about what they saw and don't want to give Blagojevic any further chance of coming back to life and kill the rest of them. And probably it's the most exciting thing that's ever happened to their otherwise boring village life, so... Anyway, the emissaries took the story with them back to Vienna, and like any good government officials, spread the tale of an undead person who drinks blood off the live ones and caused panic to anyone who heard this ghastly tale. Perhaps because you can't keep a good after-dinner story to yourself. And from this piece of history came the basis of this game, developed by Organic to Digital Studio, and in this version that we played for this review, was originally published by Big Fish Games in 2014. As an emissary of the Habsburg Empire, the player is tasked with investigating the string of unusual deaths by talking to the remaining residents of Kisilova. At the first glance, Kisilova looked just like any European village that might fit into any Grimm's Brothers book. But be warned, my fellow night owls, not everything in Kisilova is a walk in the graveyard. You'll face challenges scarier than stepping on a Lego brick in the dark.
Damn it! What the actual...
It also seemed that someone or something is also doing everything they can to obstruct your investigation. But just remember, persistence is your greatest weapon. Well, that and maybe some garlic? First things first, we got to talk about the gameplay. In this version of the game, there are only 2 game modes, regular and expert. Like a vampire's charm, the game's puzzles will suck you in. The 21 hidden object scenes are, at best I could say, are done in the old school way. Although there are plenty of anachronisms that one can see, I imagine that this was the reason. Okay, we have this new HOPA game set in the 17th century Serbian town. We need some sources for the hidden object scenes. Anybody? Got that covered, boss. Here are the pics of my garage, the garden shed, the kitchen after my relative's last visit, that is. My brother's dorm room. Yeah, bloody disgusting he is. And here's from my bedroom. So, here. Okay. Okay, well, since we have a deadline, yeah, this will do. Regarding the puzzles, There's a wide variety, although all are still in keeping with the macabre theme of the game. You'll notice also that a character named Stefan initiates the minigame most of the time of your exploration of the village. It's unique, I must say, but if I were the emissary in this game...
I sure do. Come, play some cards with me. Cheer me up.
For f***'s sake, Stefan, you have a vampire on the loose in this village and you want us to play a game with you first?
Oh, it's you again.
Huh.
As a matter of fact, I can. I have a lantern here that I'll give you.
Another challenge for the player is the lack of map feature in this version. So if you're stumped on where to go next, you'll have to use the hint button. Perhaps this mini oversight is the reason why a map was added in the Artifacts Mundi version of the game. Now let's chat about the storyline. It's fairly straightforward, although the presentation is so gripping that even Dracula himself will be on the edge of his coffin. Yeah, I thought about that. Now, if you are familiar with the source, I wouldn't mention much about the characters because revealing some of the names would spoil the ending. Seeing the artistic liberties done on the game's storyline, one could say that the title is rather misleading. But I guess it adds intrigue to anyone looking into its title. So in this case, sensationalism is the name of the game.
Don't mind me, just getting a snack.
Regarding the graphics, the game features 62 hand-painted areas, and despite this game's age, the artwork still holds up well. The locations, which includes graveyards, cottages, churches, secret rooms, dark forests, and plenty of others, all look great and contribute to the mysterious atmosphere of the game. The locations are also varied enough that exploration does not feel like a chore, and there's always something new around the corner. Most of the scenes also feature some form of animation, whether it is bugs guttering about or trees blowing in the wind, which adds a layer of realism.
The Black Death is gone, but the fear.
The voice actors are generally pretty decent, with only a couple of lines where the voice actor sounded like they just rose from the dead. Dialogues are pretty decent, although they tend to play on loop if you keep on clicking on a certain character, instead of doing what action needs to be done at that time. The sound effects are also good and adds creepiness to the scene. The background music is also hauntingly beautiful, with its somber and low-key sinister vibes, adding further tension to the game's mood. If you own the collector's edition, you'll be able to download the soundtrack, and I must say, the music is worth biting into. Now you might be wondering, is this game I'll sink my teeth into once and forget?
Excuse me.
Fear not. The bonus game in the collector's edition ties some of the loose ends. In the bonus game, the player's character returns to Kisilova after a series of recurrent dreams about their harrowing experience in the village. And this time, it involves saving a local girl named Rose.
Help me. Oh God, help me. Help me.
Once again, plenty of new locations, puzzles, and hidden object scenes, which makes the bonus chapter a pretty lengthy game. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! The ending finds the player's character discovering too late that Rose have turned into a vampire herself, and offer the player to choose between two endings, thus ensuring that you'll be coming back for seconds, thirds, and maybe even centuries. Speaking of the perks of the collector's edition, as per usual, you not only get the bonus game, but you also get the soundtrack, wallpapers, concept art, photos of a modern time Serbian town of Kisiljevo, believed to be Kisilova nowadays. Along with this are 2 video interviews about the town and the vampire myths tied to it. So my nocturnal companions, Vampire Legends, The Story of Kisilova is a game you definitely want to add to your collection. Sink your fangs into it and get ready for a thrilling adventure that's darker than midnight. That's it for today's review. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the HOPA Gaming channel for more fantastic content. And remember, stay dark, my friends.